just get rid of. I had one of them messenger heads that you can get on Android phones. I had it displayed up because I'd just been replying to a message and it went sort of, it was blocking the, the time. Shows you how long you've been streaming for. Um, all right. Welcome back to another stream. This is kind of a stream stroke video I've kind of wanted to do for a while, but I've never really been sure how to do it. So I've kind of never done it, and I've always wanted to do it. So I've kind of thought the only way to sort of tackle this stream is just or video. I mean, I stream just because that you don't have the sort of like, I guess, the like stress of waiting for a video to upload. You're streaming, it'll automatically come on your channel, kind of thing. So I prefer to stream it, but I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've just never really been sure how to do it, and I thought the only way to sort of tackle it would be just to go ahead and stream and do it. And this is, I've titled the stream Hard Music versus Cheese Music. Now, for some people at first, you're probably going to think like, what are you on about, hard music versus cheese music? I wanted to make this sort of stream to explain like why I'm saying hard music versus cheese music, and my reason of what I want to bring a debation and the topic up. So what do I mean by cheese music? We'll start like with what do I mean by cheese music. Now, a lot of people, they kind of class like the sort of like clubland, the bounce and the hardcore and the clubland hardcore, and I guess the sort of sing along bounce and the sing along hardcore. They people that aren't really into it as much. They class it as cheese music, so they class it as kind of like a cheesy song. So, for example, like let's say Ultra Beat Pretty Green Eyes is classed as a cheesy song, and a lot of people who maybe was like an original raver in the 90s prefer the Force and Styles one. Now, I'll agree and admit I do love the Force and Styles version, but there's other tracks, for example, like there's a tune called Someday. I think it's, is it Resonance Q? I can't remember how you pronounce the name, but songs like that, sing along songs that people sing along to. They get classed as sort of known as like cheese music, and people that aren't necessarily into that, and they like their sort of harder music, they like their up tempo and their raw style. They kind of sort of look down upon our music, and they kind of say, well, look, this music's cheesy, this music's rubbish, it's not hard enough for us. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to make a stream which is basically cheese music versus the harder music. And the reason why I wanted to make this stream is because this year I've been to a couple of events and a couple of gigs where there has been like your sort of normal like cheese, hardcore, bounce, whatever you want to call it. But then there's maybe been like an outdoor stage, or there's been like another area of that night where it's been a little bit more harder, or where there's been like harder music. And I've also been to some like bookings, and well, I've been to some nightclubs where it has been like mainly like a harder night, where they've played more harder stuff, and they've sort of slid away from playing them sort of cheesy vocally tunes that people class as the cheese. And the reason why I wanted to make the stream was because I wanted to get other people's opinion. Like, do you prefer the cheese music? Do you prefer the harder music? And I also kind of wanted to make this stream to kind of like, I mean, me personally, I like both like styles of the music. Like, I don't mind the harder stuff, and I do. I am a sucker for a good sort of cheesy song. You know, I do love something that's got a well-known vocal, something you can sing along to. And I will admit, I do like that more than the harder stuff. Like, I guess in whatever genre I'm into, I do tend to go for the harder sort of style of that genre. So if it's house, I do like to go to me hard house. If it's you know, if it's like bounce, I do like to go to me sort of like more bounce and me harder bounce as well. Hardcore, I like me hard tunes. I like going into a bit of power stomp as well, and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people that are into the harder music that actually slate. They actually slate the what's known as the cheese music, and they actually sort of, you know, say it's too cheesy, it's rubbish, it's a load of crap. But what I like, why I wanted to make this stream was kind of just to say that the hard music doesn't actually do as well as the cheese music, and I've actually seen it happen in effect. So I went to the same venue, and I went to a nightclub. I'm not going to name the nightclub or the event in this. I'm just sort of using them as examples. But I went to an event, and it was like a bit of a harder night. You know, there was a lot more. There was French core going off. There was sort of like, you know, a lot of hard style, a lot of reverse bass going off. And, you know, I will be fair and honest, there was some other nights going on in other clubs around the area that had some pretty big names involved. But this hard night, it wasn't dead, but at the same time, you know, it wasn't packed, and it wasn't the best turnout that they expected. And even the guy who put the night on even did make a post regarding the event, saying, you know, he knows that he made a bit of a bad decision going with this genre. It's not what he normally goes for, but he was branching out and trying something different. A couple of weeks later, we went back to the same venue, and there was like a more like commercial cheesy night. So there was bounce, there was hardcore, there was Makina, and, you know, there was a lot of sort of well-known sing-along tunes that the crowd can actually react and sing along to. And all I can say is the night was a sellout. The night, you know, all the tickets sold, and even people was getting turned away. And then this weekend just gone, I went back to the same venue, and it was a similar night. You know, there was bounce, there was hardcore, there was a little bit of harder stuff outside, but mainly it was a big sort of well known cheesy night. Um, yes, FIFA King, what's going on? And again, the night was packed, the tickets were selling. Um, so a lot of people they slate the harder music, and they slate the cheese music, sorry, and they say like people who are into like the harder stuff, they say like this like cheese and this bounce stuff, they say it's not hard enough. They say it's not, you know, it's not for them. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. Fair enough. But I've even like had like heard the point where like people have called, like, say for example, Club Filler, they've nicknamed in Club Emptier. And you know, they've even like slated some of these like big DJs and these sort of like, you know, play this like more cheesy stuff. And they've even like said things like they don't mix properly, and they don't do this properly, and they don't do that properly. But the only thing I want to say about this is you know, people say they call Club Filler Club Emptier, right? Well, he came to a place where I was at the weekend. I was just, you know, I went as a, you know, attending as a raver, supporting the night, and he absolutely he dominated the night. You know, the set was full of the, you know, sing along tunes that you would recognise. It was hardcore, so it was quite hard, but, you know, it was sing along. He was absolutely dominating the night. A couple of weeks prior to that, there was Andy Whitby down in the same venue, and absolutely dominated the night. Absolutely, you know, again, sing along, feel good tunes, but everybody was singing along. Everybody was going for it. I've been playing at these bounce to your drop nights, and they've been absolutely heaving. They've been packed, they've been busy, they've been full of people having a good time. You look at these festivals that they put on. So there's like big festivals that happen in the area, and they'll have a house tent, they'll have a clubland tent, and then they'll maybe have a little bit of an harder tent. And the sort of like the clubland tents and the house tents where you've got all the good anthems and the sing along tunes are normally heaving compared to, let's say, the harder tents. And I'm just thinking, like, all these people that are into the harder music, that they slay our music, like our cheese music. They call it cheese, if you like, but our cheese music absolutely dominates their music, like in terms of, like, events and things have better turnouts, and arenas in festivals have more people in that tent as opposed to their tent. However, if you do go across like abroad and you go into like the Netherlands and stuff, a lot of the like hard style and raw style and Frenchcore is actually really big over there, and you can see like mass thousands and thousands upon thousands of people. But the aim of this stream, it wasn't really to cause a little debate or an argument, but it was just kind of to like see what people's opinions are. Like do people prefer the harder stuff? Do people find like the cheesy stuff is like too sort of, or do you love it? You're on a night out and Club Filler comes on the decks and he just slams out an hour, and you recognizing loads of the songs and you're singing along to them. What are you actually into, as opposed to like music wise? Because me, I'm into a bit of everything. I mean, I'm actually hosting like a hard style and a raw style night actually in January for DNA. So like I've got no objections to the harder nights, but I just sort of wanted to make this stream to sort of get people's sort of opinion and to sort of discuss, because I do think that people that slay other kinds of music, I think is wrong. I think like if you don't like a genre of music, like that's your opinion, and like if someone else likes that genre of music, then just be happy that they like it. And this also ties into like other sort of things that I may make other streams about in the future as well, regarding jealousy and things. Because sometimes, if you do something that people don't like it because they're actually jealous. So for example, like say for example, like there's like a load of people from your town. You're all sort of into like a similar thing, but you, for example, do quite well, and you take off at whatever you're doing, and you do quite well, and then the other people they'll get jealous. They'll get completely jealous of that, and I think that's almost like the same as kind of like people say they don't like the cheese music because sometimes they're actually jealous of how well it does, and they put on these harder nights, and sometimes they maybe don't make the ends meet, or maybe they don't get enough people through the door, or it just doesn't go down as well, and then someone else they know, maybe like a friend of theirs, puts on a night and it's full of the cheesy music and the feel good sing along anthems, and it absolutely dominates and it smashes it. And maybe there's a slight bit of jealousy there. I don't know. I'd love to go to Tomorrowland, but tickets sell. Andy Whitby, all of his tune. Yes, they are. Tomorrowland is very expensive to go to, but they have harder stuff at Tomorrowland as well. They've got cheese, they've got hard. So some places do cater for a bit of everything, which is nice. But definitely, one thing I am against is people like slating other people for liking a style of music that they don't like. Like there's loads of music that isn't my cup of tea. I mean, I like a lot of music, I do. But if somebody else likes a specific type of music that I don't like, I'm not going to slate them for liking it, because at the end of the day, I might like something that they don't like. And this is what annoys me, because I used to be in like a group of friends with people, and they was very like if you played music that they didn't like, they'd tell you every time you play it that they don't like it. This is too heavy. This is too bassy. You play that boom 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 all the time, and then they'll play. Maybe they play stuff that's in the charts, and I'm not a big fan of the chart music, but I telling them every time they put it on, sort of almost like gobbing off in their ear, saying that the chart music shit, blah blah blah. I just sort of wanted to make this sort of stream because there's always like a divide in the music. There's always like people that sort of like jealous of like your success, and then there's always people that are sort of like they always try to like battle and brand things, and they always try to like make out that they like this type of music and it's the best type of music. The other music's rubbish compared to that, and that's not how I should how it should be. You could be like, this is my favorite type of music. I'm not keen on that other type of music, but to physically, shout off and gob off in groups and people and say that music's rubbish, it might be to you, but there might be somebody that actually likes it, within that group. And all I'm saying is like give other music a go as well. Like don't just instantly just because it maybe isn't a little bit. Maybe it's not as fast or it's a bit too fast for what you normally like. Just have a go. And this is kind of like this ties into a lot of stuff. I mean, I could like divert on the stream and I could go off onto all kinds of topics, but one thing that also used to annoy me going back a while as well is people that wouldn't support you because you were doing something that they didn't like. Now, I always use a prime good example of this because one thing I don't like is like I really don't really like it is football. I'm not keen on football. I don't really watch it on telly. I don't really go to any matches. I don't really have out to do with it. I don't go and watch it at the pub when it's on. If I'm in the pub and it's on, I might just happen to like just glimpse at it. If there's like, if I'm just the pub on my own kind of thing. But like it's not really my thing. However, if I had a close friend and he was into football and he was doing really well and he was getting somewhere, and let's say he gets signed to a team, he's doing well, he gets signed to a team, and he rings me up. He's like, Ash, Noble mate, I've been signed for this football team. I've got a big game coming up on Saturday. I would really love it if you'd come and show your support. Now, I don't love football, as a matter of fact, I don't even like it. But would I go and see that friend play just because, he's a mate and he's doing well? And my answer to this is yes, I would. If I was genuinely free and I genuinely had the time, I'd sit there and I'd think, you know what? I'm not really into football, but he's into it. I know, even though I'm not into it, that he's been putting the effort in. He's been going to his football training. He's been doing so well. He deserves to be signed up, and I'm so happy that he's got into this big game. So because he's my mate, and I'm so proud of him, I'm gonna go and watch him. I'm gonna go and see him play, and I'm gonna go and watch him absolutely smash the pants off of it in the pitch. And then I'm gonna congratulate him at the end for doing so well when he wins because I believe in him. And what annoys me is there's a lot of people are not like that. If you do something that they're not really keen on, so if you're like, I'm a DJ or I'm an MC, and I get a gig and it's like for music that some people I know aren't really into, it's not really my sort of music. They don't come to a gig and see me, or they won't come and watch me play. And I'm thinking, you get something quite big. One of them I know, as a prime example, was the first time I ever really got an official nightclub booking. I got put down on the stomping flyer to MC. Back then I was still living in Driffield at the time. And I'll be honest, I thought quite a few more people, just for the pure fact that someone they've known, they've gone through school with, has actually landed himself at, a first gig, which at the time, it was a big deal to me. I was very excited, very, I was very pleased with myself. I'd gagged in this booking, um, and obviously I just, wanted it to go well. And I thought, I've got some friends here that they'll just be proud of me, so they'll at least come and show me a little bit of support. And I got more or less the opposite. There was about four people that came to support me. So at first I was a bit like, you know what, this is actually solid. This is actually like, I've actually got some friends here that have actually come out to support me. So I was actually buzzed. One person wasn't really vibing the music, so he left after about 20 minutes. Another person decided to go with him, but just because he couldn't be bothered to stay, even though he claims that he don't mind this kind of music. Another person stood outside in the smoking area all night and missed everything. And another guy did actually stay on the dance floor, and he did actually dance the night away. But they left early. They left and heading on into town, and he actually left his hat. And I got the hassle of trying to get this guy's hat back for him. So I was a little bit disappointed that they sort of came, but their sort of like lack of support, even though they came, was kind of sort of like, I don't know, a little bit sort of like lacking. That there was lack of support. Like they came, but they couldn't even stay. They didn't even really care. They were more just bothered about standing outside, in the smoking area and doing their own thing, and leaving early. Like they come all this way. They claim pictures online. It was just one of them things. So I just sort of wanted to make. Oh, I have a phone call. Hello. Not even letting me answer it. I don't even know if we're still live. I think we are, but are we live? It's saying rotate device. I don't know if you can hear me right now, guys. Ah. Oh. Bear with me. I think we've just actually ended up flipping the camera. You are gonna have to literally bear with me. We kind of like we've sort of like lost everything. It's saying rotate device. Bear with me. I'm a little bit lost. Right, we're saying rotate device, but I did actually rotate the device. Right, it's a little weird. So literally, I got a phone call, and this phone lags, and sometimes my phone so say if someone rings me, like the phone's like ringing for ages at their end, but there's like a delay on my phone, so it doesn't actually come up saying that I've got somebody calling. So it comes up late, and then it sends my phone into like a viral like lagging mode, where it takes like so long like for the call thing to come up. Like the phone starts vibrating, and there's no like button that comes up like that says answer the call, and then by the time it actually lets you click it, like you've actually missed the call, and then you end up getting a missed call. And it's so annoying. It's like the most annoyingest thing ever. And this keeps happening. This just keeps happening and happening all the time. So I ended up missing the call, but it's like lagged the stream, and now like because when you stream on a phone, you have to rotate the device, and you can't have the phone like upright. You've got to have it on a side. So literally, I put it back on the side, but it's still saying rotate device. So I don't know if it's actually like rotated for you, or if it's still saying rotate device for you. But anyway, back to the aim of the stream. It was mainly like music versus cheese, but I might delete this stream once it's like finished. I'm not sure. It was just something that was on my mind. You know, I wanted to kind of do a stream without sort of getting into a debate and starting a debate, but well, I kind of wanted to start a debate, but I wanted to start more like a friendly debate, not, you know, I just wanted more like people's opinions. I wasn't aiming as such to start an argument as such, but I was kind of just sort of wanting to see what people's thoughts were on it, and just to kind of like sort of say that the cheese music does actually get more of a following from what I've seen. Like, you know, I've been to hard nights, I've been to like nights where they're playing like the cheesier stuff, and I've seen like how the cheesier music like goes down more well, and you get more people that turn out to see people like Club Filler and Andy Whitby, as opposed to see like people like Anger Fist, if that makes sense. Like I say, I went to a night just recently, and it was like more harder music. There was a lot of like hardstyle people in there and reverse bass people, and you know, it didn't do as well as opposed to like when I went to the same venue to another night, and there was like Andy Whitby, Nana Makina, and then obviously recently we've just had Club Filler, Psy, Alstorm, you know, and they've got, you know, people that are like coming out, sort of like loads of people coming out to see it. And it's even to a point where the headliners themselves are actually taking a video like of themselves during their set, and there's like a heaving crowd of people. Whereas you go to these harder nights, and you know, there's like gaps in the dance floor, and you know, there's hardly anybody at them. So I just thought I'd get the sort of like, I guess the topic of the discussion really. So you can go in the comments and let me know, what do you prefer? Do you like the harder stuff? Do you think the cheese music is just cheese music? Do you agree? Do you think it works? Do you think the cheese music does work, and it actually brings in crowds into nightclubs? You know, do you think nightclubs are busier when there's like this sort of like feel good sing along music? You know, a DJ comes on and he's, you know, he's dropping all the well known tunes, and you're having a good time and singing along to them. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna cut this stream here. And we'll see you next time.